Joshua was old and advanced in years. The Lord said to him, "You are now old, yet much of the land remains unconquered." The Lord listed the territories still remaining: the 5 lords of the Philistines, Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, the land of the Geshurites and Maacathites, and the northern territories of the Canaanites and the Sidonians. God said, "I myself will drive them out before Israel. But you must divide this land among the tribes, as I commanded." The chapter then recalls the allotments given by Moses east of the Jordan: to Reuben, Heshbon, Dibon, Medeba, Medeba, and towns in the plain; to Gad, Jazer, Gilead, Ramoth-Gilead, and Mahanaim; to half Manasseh, Og's kingdom in Bashan, with 60 fortified towns. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses gave no land. Instead, their inheritance was the sacrifices of the Lord their God. Catholic reflection. Even as Joshua aged, God reminded him the mission was not finished. This shows us that God's work continues through us until our last breath. The Levites received no land because their true portion was the Lord himself. This foreshadows how priests in the new covenant renounce earthly inheritance, for Christ is their eternal reward. The tribe of Judah received its inheritance, stretching from the wilderness of Zin to the Great Sea. Caleb drove out the 3 Anakim from Hebron. He offered his daughter Achsah in marriage to whoever captured Debir. Othniel, Caleb's nephew, conquered Debir and received Achsah. She asked her father for springs of water, and Caleb gave her both the upper and lower springs. Judah's cities included Bethlehem, Hebron, Beersheba, Lachish, Debir, and En-gedi by the Dead Sea. But Judah could not drive out the Jebusites who dwelled in Jerusalem, and they remained among them. Catholic reflection. Caleb's gift of springs to his daughter symbolizes the living water of the Spirit, which God pours generously on his children. Yet Judah's failure to expel the Jebusites reminds us, when we leave sin unconquered, it lingers like an infection in the soul. Partial obedience weakens holiness. The inheritance of Ephraim stretched to Bethel, Gezer, and the Jordan. But the Ephraimites did not drive out the Canaanites in Gezer. They lived there among them, though subjected to forced labor. Catholic reflection. When sin is tolerated instead of destroyed, it becomes a snare. Just as Gezer remained, so venial sins can harden into habits if not uprooted. The half-tribe of Manasseh west of the Jordan received its share, including towns in Issachar and Asher. The daughters of Zelophehad had again received their inheritance, as the Lord commanded, showing his justice extends to all. But the Manassites failed to drive out the Canaanites completely, though they later enslaved them. Dissatisfied, they complained to Joshua that their land was too small. Joshua replied, "You are a numerous and strong people. Go up into the forest, clear it, and drive out the Canaanites, even those with iron chariots." Catholic reflection. Joshua challenges them, stop complaining and act in faith. Catholics too must trust God's strength instead of fearing iron chariots. The intimidating obstacles in our lives. The Israelites gathered at Shiloh, where they set up the tent of meeting. Joshua rebuked them. "How long will you put off taking possession of the land?" Surveyors mapped the land, and the first lot fell to Benjamin. Their territory included Jerusalem, Jericho, Gibeon, Mizpah, Gibeah, and Ai. Catholic reflection. Shiloh became the center of worship, foreshadowing how the Eucharist is the center of Catholic life. Joshua's warning against delay reminds us, faith must be lived today, not tomorrow. The other tribes received their inheritance. Simeon, within Judah, including Beersheba and Ziklag. Zebulun, near the Galilee, including Nazareth. Issachar, in the fertile Jezreel Valley. Asher, along the coast, including Akko and Tyre. Naphtali, in the north, including Kedesh and Hazor. Dan, pressed by enemies, migrated north, captured Lishimam, and renamed it Dan. Finally, Israel gave Joshua his own inheritance, Timnath-Serah in Ephraim's hill country. Conclusion. These are the inheritances, distributed by lot at Shiloh before the Lord at the tent of meeting. So they finished dividing the land. Catholic reflection. Joshua, the leader, takes his portion last. This foreshadows Christ, who came not to be served, but to serve. Leadership in God's kingdom means humility and selflessness. The Lord commanded 6 cities of refuge where anyone who killed unintentionally could flee. Kadesh and Naphtali, Shechem and Ephraim, Hebron and Judah could flee. Kadesh and Naphtali, Shechem and Ephraim, Hebron and Judah, Bezer and Reuben, Ramoth Gilead and Gad, Golan and Manasseh. These were for both Israelites and resident aliens until trial before the assembly. Catholic reflection. The cities of refuge prefigured Christ himself, who is our refuge prefigured Christ himself, who is our refuge from sin. In the church, the sacrament of reconciliation is where we flee from mercy and safety. The Levites came to Joshua and the leaders at Shiloh. Give us towns as the Lord promised. So Israel gave them 48 cities with pasture lands distributed among all the tribes. The Kohathites received towns including Hebron, Libnah, and Anathoth. The Gershonites received towns including Shechem, Golan, Kadesh. The Merarites received towns including Bezer, Ramoth, and others. Thus, the Levites were spread throughout the land, ensuring God's ministers were present everywhere among his people. The book concludes, "The Lord gave Israel all the land he had sworn to their ancestors. None of their enemies withstood them. Not a single word of all his promises failed. All came to pass." Catholic reflection. The Levites scattered among the tribes symbolize the Catholic priesthood, present across the world to bring sacraments and God's word. The closing promise assures us, God is faithful. Every word he speaks is fulfilled in Christ.